probably have too many meetings on your calendar. So in this video, I want to talk about how to be more efficient with your meetings and what you can do to set up a schedule for yourself that's going to feel much less burdensome. Hey everyone, I'm David Cherry. I'm a coach to creators and founders based in sunny Santa Monica. If you're interested in videos about growth in your business or your personal life, stick around for more videos like this every week. Since the pandemic started, the number of Zoom meetings has skyrocketed. Now, many things that you might have done in the office are now happening remotely, and that means that the Zoom meetings just continue to pile up. This is a huge issue. It's a huge issue for people who are looking to get deep work done. It's also a huge issue because it's become a little bit of a default for ourselves for if we have a problem that we don't have a solution for, the first thing we think that we should do is set a meeting. And beyond that, this is an issue for almost everybody. It's not just you that is feeling like anytime I have an issue, I need to set a meeting with somebody. It's also that the people on your team, your clients, the people you work with, when they have a problem, their first inclination is also to set a meeting. And all of this leads to your calendar just being completely overloaded, which means that you're not getting any deep work done. And worse than that, it means that the priorities that you have, the things you want to be proactive about, well, they start to slip through the cracks. And suddenly you're just facing every week after week, back-to-back meetings that really don't feel like you're getting anywhere. And the truth is, while you might be productive in certain meetings and actually getting some face time with people is super helpful, we also need a balance. We also need to take control of our schedule. So today I just want to run you through a few different ways that you can improve your week, improve your life by reducing the number of meetings that you're in and increasing the amount of time you're spending on proactive projects that truly make a difference. The first and simplest step is to only have meetings that have a clear purpose. You might think that that is a very obvious thing for me to say. However, there are many meetings that are just called without a clear, singular purpose for what it is that you're looking to get out of it. When you have a purpose for a meeting, it acts almost like a guardrail for the meeting. It helps you understand, when are we on track? When are we off track? When is Bob or Sue drifting into territory that is completely irrelevant? And how do we bring it back to the purpose, back to the singular outcome that we're aiming for? And one simple tip for that is, before you go into a meeting, just simply ask the question, what am I trying to get out of this meeting? By the end of this meeting, when it's completed, what is the single thing that I am looking for to understand whether or not I got what it is I'm looking for? In a sales call, that might be a specific decision about follow-up. In a team meeting with multiple people, it might be setting a future session where you're going to have a clear agenda. Whatever the reason might be, you just want to know specifically, why am I in this meeting and what am I hoping to get out of it? Following on from that, the second thing you can do to be more proactive about having a purpose in meetings is asking people if they do have an agenda, or sending agenda before you actually attend one of the meetings that you're entering. So if somebody puts a meeting on your calendar and you're not really sure what the purpose is, you can always ask them. You can clarify. You can say, hey, what's the number one thing that you're trying to get out of this meeting? The second option is you can also, in your calendar, this is something that I do, I actually put in the title of the meeting what the purpose of the meeting is, and sometimes I even add bullet points in the description that says, these are the things that we're hoping to cover today. The third tip is, when you start or kick off a meeting, if you're the person leading it, you can always preface for the entire group what the context of the meeting might be. You can tell people what it is you're aiming to get out of it, how you hope they can help, and you can even specify kind of fun things like, if you are providing feedback, let's not shut anybody's ideas down, because this is purely a brainstorming session. It means all ideas are good ideas, so anybody just throw out ideas as we're discussing this. Or instead, you could say something like, in this very particular design meeting, I'm only looking for feedback on this particular area, so please refrain from giving pieces of advice or thoughts or ideas that are completely off topic. Now, if you do the few steps that I just mentioned, it's likely that your meetings are going to improve. The efficiency is going to improve. You're going to feel more settled in the meetings that you're having, because you're just going to have a sense of like, I actually know why I'm here and what it is that I'm doing. But let's get to the issue of, how do we actually get more meetings off our calendar? How do we have less meetings? And that's what I would want to jump into with you right now. We also want to get into, how do we actually have less meetings? How do we actually remove meetings from our calendar so that we can shift to the deep work that we're really hoping to do? And the first thing that I would really encourage you to do is have at least 1, maybe 2 days per week with just no meetings on the calendar. Now, I know that's not within everybody's control, but if you're able to ask somebody on your team, your boss, your manager, if you're able to be in control of your own schedule, having at least 1 day, ideally 2, where you just don't have any meetings on the calendar, really can make the difference in jumping into deep work and being more proactive about your schedule. Once you start having 1 or 2 days where there's just no meetings and you can wake up and look at your calendar and just realize I have the entire day to be as productive as I want to be, you start to get this feeling of, wow, I really value having some space and time available. And that one day leads you to start thinking a little bit more strategically or a little bit more proactively about the meetings you do set over the course of the week. Now, this channel is typically for creators or freelancers or business owners who have more control over their schedule. If you don't have as much control of your schedule, it's possible that you can suggest shorter meeting times. So if your default setting for meetings is an hour long, see if you can bring it back to 30. I always find that actually having less time in a meeting makes it more efficient, because going back to one of the earlier points, what ends up happening is you have a more clear purpose, you drive more clearly to that purpose, and therefore the extra time, the extra 30 minutes ends up being irrelevant. The last tip that I have for you, well, it's not really as much of a tip, it's more of a mindset, but it's once you start to get in this mindset of seeing your calendar as a reflection of your priorities, as a reflection or almost a forecast of what is going to get done, of who you're going to be, you start to change your mind about how you're spending your time, you start to guard it more, and you start to be a little bit more intentional about the meetings you're setting. And I just think that's so powerful to look at the week you have ahead, the month you have ahead, and just see that all of that time ahead of me is something that I can own, that I can help work with, that really is this type of forecast that's showing me how am I going to work over the course of the next month. And if I have all these meetings booked on my calendar, I've pre-committed to all of these different things that are taking my time in a particular direction. Now, if you're really happy with your schedule and you're really happy with the way your calendar looks, it's probably because your priorities and your goals and your interests match almost one-to-one with the calendar that you actually set. But if you're looking over the course of the next month and you're seeing just this flood of meetings, see if you can implement some of the tips that I spoke about today. Of course, you can always leave comments and ask questions down below. I'd love to chat with you there. And I'll be back again very soon with more videos like this, so stay tuned. Later.